out of the offense. That's not, yeah, he can pass the ball, but Mike Conley is a pure point guard who can score. But his number one priority is to make sure everybody else is fed, and then he will eat after that. So I believe that Utah will play with a greater sense of urgency, knowing that this is a game in which your superstar, Donovan Mitchell, needs to be spectacular. We've seen him be spectacular in all the games with the exception of Game 5, where he wasn't nearly as aggressive as he needed to be. And I think a lot of that had to do with them hitting so many threes early. It got him out of the routine where he says, well, I don't really need to be aggressive because Bogdan is raining threes. Joe Ingles is raining threes. So I don't really need to assert myself in this and mess them up out of their rhythm. You see, he needs to be the leading scorer. He needed the 32 that Bogdan had, and Bogdan needed the 21 that he had. So you're stuck, because if you look at Paul George and what he did for the Clippers, he had 37, but he got contribution from Marcus Morris with 25. He got a major contribution from Reggie Jackson with 22. That's the way it needs to go, Skip. The likelihood of a role player leading your team in a game like this is, it doesn't happen very often. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think. This is why you have superstars, Skip, is because you expect them to be stars, superstars, in moments like this. This is a great opportunity for Donovan Mitchell to show that, yeah, I am what I believe to be. There's a reason why Utah gave me a max contract. There's a reason why I made the All-Star team. I believe I should have been an All-NBA player. I'm going to show you. I believe he's ultra aggressive tonight. I believe they escape with a thin margin of victory. I'm going to say something like 100 to 102 to 96. And I believe they get a win, force a Game 7. But they cannot force a Game 7 unless Donovan Mitchell go for somewhere in the mid-30s to even 40s, because Paul George is going to be Paul George. Now, I don't believe he has the night that he had the other night, but these role players seem to play better at home. And if that's true, Marcus Morris could be in line to have another game, maybe not 25. Reggie Jackson has been lights out. What you call him, Mr. June. He's been spectacular in the last 5 or 6 ball games, going all the way back to the Dallas series. So I'm going to take Utah because I'm going to put a little bit more trust in Donovan Mitchell to be aggressive and to lead this team.
Okay. I'm going to preface my comments by saying this has all become very bittersweet for me. Happy, sad. Because it's very sad to me that Kawhi Leonard is gone. He had the #1 PER in the postseason, player efficiency rating.
Yeah.
He was making a case that he was the MVP of the postseason, and it's neck and neck between him and Kevin, obviously.
Correct. Yep.
I thought this team was emerging as a championship team. You know, and I know, I picked them before the year started. They rode the roller coaster through the regular season. They rode it through the Dallas series. But they seem to be finding themselves, finding their way into championship mode, to where I was really starting to trust them as an overall basketball team coached by one of the best in the business, if not the best now, in Ty Lue. And it felt like the first time ever the Clippers were going to break through all that ugly stepchildren image that they were stuck with all those years and burst out of the basement at Staples and win a championship. And now I would be shocked if they could win the championship without Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
So it feels like the only goal left is to try to close this deal tonight in Game 6 and at least say we beat the Jazz, who had the best record in basketball, and then let the chips fall against the Suns and whatever would happen thereafter. But this would be your ceiling, is to knock off the Jazz without Kawhi Leonard. And I believe they have to do it tonight at home, because I would definitely not love their chances of going back to Utah and try to rinse and repeat what they did 2 nights ago in Utah in Game 5. I just don't love it because, Shannon, in the second half of that game, the Jazz shot 3 of 24 from 3. 3 of 24. Think about that. They missed 21 threes in the second half at home in that insane asylum they play in. after they had hit 10 threes in the first quarter. They had hit 15 threes through the first quarter and a half, 3 of 24 in the second half. That left the door wide enough open that Playoff P and Mr. June and Marcus Morris Sr. could run through it.
Right.
And speaking of those three, they're going to have to do it again tonight at home. I do think the pressure in this series has swung back to the home team. Obviously, the Jazz, if they go up and smoke tonight, it would be a bust of a season. I don't know. Could Quinn Snyder be on a hot seat? Maybe. I don't know. But this would be an epic collapse for them if they lose to a team without Kawhi Leonard. But I still say a slight majority of the pressure tonight is on the Clippers at home because they know they have a chance to do something virtually impossible to knock off the Jazz without Kawhi.
Skip, I believe all the pressure's on the Clippers because here's the thing. All we have to do is win one game and the series is over. So now if the pressure's incumbent on us, we're at home.
I agree.
They should win this ball game. What do you think they're going to be thinking? I understand. Well, we did win game 5 in there, but do you like your chances? Do you, as you said, do you believe that Utah Jazz will shoot 3 of 24 again in the second half and leave the door open so you can walk in it again? I do not believe they'll do that, Skip.
Although Fox Bet says tonight the Clippers are actually a 1.5 underdog at home. That's correct to me. I got no quarrel with that.
Okay.
So let's see what just happened in the last 3 games. Obviously, there's a Kawhi factor here, but the Clippers won Game 3 by 26. They won Game 4 by 14. They won the other night without Kawhi at Utah by 8. So they have averaged winning 3 straight games by 16 points over the #1 record team in the NBA. That's pretty great.
Yes.
So they do have Kawhi-less momentum. They do have to feel pretty good about themselves at home tonight, which brings me to Playoff P. He's going to have to be the star tonight, not just the co-star. I believe he's emerging as a 50-50 star with Kawhi. Instead of being the 1A, tonight he obviously has to be the 1. So in this series so far, the guy called Pandemic P, the guy who was ridiculed even by me at certain points in his career as George Paul.
Yeah.
Against the Jazz so far, through 5 games, he's averaged 29, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists. If he could have a KD-esque game tonight, as KD had in Game 5.
He had it in Game 5.
Okay, but I'm saying if he could go way up, if he could go 40, 15, and 10, if he could have a big triple-double tonight, I think he would start making the case that he's been the MVP of the entire playoffs. But it would require a big game on a big stage in a big moment for this franchise tonight. And obviously, he can't do it alone, which brings me to Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson has been Mr. June. The other night at Utah, he did make the 4 biggest shots of the game because they were all momentum breakers. Just when you thought Utah's about to seize control, Reggie said no, 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 and no. And if we could just quickly remind everybody, could we see those 4 shots he made in order? Here they go. The lead's been cut to 3, and I don't know how he made that one at the end of the clock. And all of a sudden, they're back up to 6. And here he goes again. It's now a 4-point lead. And, whoa, it's back to 7. And now it's cut down to 3 again. Here come the Jazz. And from the deep corner over there, he makes another 3. And then here they come again. And this is a 5-point game. And he's got Gobert on skates and goes up and under. And it should have been an and 1. Well, those are all killer, dagger, dagger, dagger kind of shots by Reggie Jackson.
Exactly.
So, Shannon, I'm going to remind everybody, I always hark back to this game because he's got this in him. It's not like this is new to him. It's not like this is completely foreign to him because I always remember that 2014 game when he played alongside KD and Russ in Oklahoma City. He was their 6th man. And they got in trouble against Memphis. And remember that Memphis team was Gasol,